Hey guys, welcome back. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of steel to remake this bottom of this fender that we were working on last night. I drew it a little wider than it needs to be and a little bit longer down here so that we can make those two bends to form the side here and then this bottom lip. So I'm going to get this cut out. I'll come back and we'll make a couple bends on it with probably just use the vise. I don't know if I'm going to go out back and use the bender. So let me get this cut and I'll be right back. Okay, the first thing I need to do here is try to get a little bit of a roll to it, because if you see, if I keep this flat like that, you can see the fender has a bit of a roll to it. So I need to put a little bit of a roll in this. So I'm gonna see if I can just try to do it lightly by hand on the vise here. I mean, we're not talking a lot, just a little bit. Okay, you can see we have a little bit of a slight roll to that now. Let me grab my marker. Now we'll go see what that looks like. See that? Look at that. How nice that looks right there. So this is the top, and that's the front. Okay, now we need to mark here and down here. So we're going to draw a line straight across here and one coming down here. Okay, so what we need to do is, this bend is not an exact 90-degree bend. It's a little bit less. Got to go downwards. Trying to do it on here to try to keep a radius, but I might have to make it a little tighter bend than that, because if you look right here, you can see how it has a radius, but this is too much of a radius. It's close, actually. The angle's just about there. I might just be able to tap it with a hammer to get that flattened out some. That looks pretty good. That's not too far off at all. So now I need to make a cut right here. Now we need to bend this other edge right to a 90. trying to figure out how I want to do this. This is going to be a little bit more difficult because we have that radius bent. Yeah, trying to find somewhere I can tap this on. All right. Might have lost a little bit of our radius. That's not too bad. Okay, now we need to fold this other one over. Need to cut through them both. Okay, that's what it looks like. I need to cut this at a little bit of an angle. Real close here. I think I need to hammer this down a little bit more. Let me go hammer that a little bit more of an angle. It's gotta go a tiny bit more. I gotta cut that angle again. I'm just gonna make another cut right through both of them. Hammer a little bit more of an angle. That actually looks really good. A little bit off here though. This bottom leg's a little too long on this side. I think I'm going to cut the fender rather than the piece. I think I can make that work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray primer on the back of that and a little bit in there, and we'll let that dry for a few. All right, I'm ready to weld this up. I need to cut this a little bit right here. It's rubbing on the side. Grab a hammer and tap that down. Okay, I'm not going to film me welding this whole thing again. I'm going to hook up my air, do it exactly like I did that door yesterday. I'm going to get a good weld going there, a tack in here, a tack down here, and then I'm going to weld underneath there. So let me get this welded, and then I'll come back and we'll grind it down. Okay, let's get this ground down, see what it looks like. All right, I'm gonna keep grinding this until it's all ground down. Okay, here we go. It's all ground down, feels pretty darn good. A little bit low right here, which is fine. Got this edge all ground down and cleaned up. Same thing in here, that's all cleaned up. So now we're gonna put a little bit of short hair fiberglass on this, direct to metal. I 36 gridded all this metal down so that we can have a good surface to stick to. So I'm gonna mix up a little bit of that. We're gonna put a coat on that and on that one part of that door. Before I mix that up, but this is the before and after. And this old one, they literally just stuck a patch right over the rusty other metal. So they double layered right on top of the other rust. Didn't even think to cut it out. Okay, I got some mixed up here. Don't need a ton of it. I am going to fill in the low spot with it though. Okay, while this is drying, I'm going to go ahead and sand down this fender with a 180 grit with the DA, and then I'll come back and we'll sand down this spot. Okay, let's sand this down. I got a used piece of 80 grit on this mud buster. Let's see if it'll knock it down. Feels a little high right here. I'm going to lightly tap that in. Much better. Okay. Feels pretty good. Feels a little in right here. Right there. Spot that's in is underneath that brace. I can't really get to it. I have to put a little filler. Now, if you noticed when I had spread this fiberglass, I had went on to some paint that was non-sanded, so I made sure I took it all back off. There's a little bit right here I missed. Okay, just want to make sure I don't have any filler on non-sanded paint, because then it's just going to peel right off. So now we got the base coat down. We're probably going to fill most of this in right here. We got, like I said, we got a little divot right here, but it's behind that brace. I can't get to it. So we're just going to go ahead and lightly smooth all this out with some filler. I have most of the fender sanded down. As you can see, I still got to get these edges, and look at how crappy of a paint job they did on it. You know, just peeling right off. Never scuffed the edges or nothing. So, all right, let me blow this off and we'll get some filler mixed up. All right, we get some mixed up here. Might look like a lot, but it's really not gonna be that much once I sand it down. Just trying to get the basic shape here. Stupid bees. Okay. If you're wondering what that noise is, the neighbors have a husky and it does it all day long. Just likes to howl. They're a couple down from me. Okay, it's actually looking pretty good. I haven't even sanded it yet. So I'm gonna finish sanding the rest of this fender while that sets up. All right, I'm gonna knock it down with the mud buster just to knock it down, and then we'll switch. Actually feels pretty darn good. I'm gonna grab my my 6-inch file board and we'll go over it with that. Okay, now I got some 180 grit on my DA. All right, that looks and feels really good. We'll know for sure once we put filler primer on it and we run the block on it, but it feels good. Maybe a little bit right here. I need to sand a little bit more, but you could tell how much I took off after I put all that on. This edge right here is really, really thin. So, all right, that's gonna be the end of the fender. I'm gonna bring the door up here next. I'm gonna do the same thing to the bottom of this door now. I'm just gonna put a little of the icing on here because this is perfectly flat. This was a really good area because I patched it myself. That fender was patched previously, so it was a little warped, but this is nice and flat. So I'm just gonna do a thin coat of icing over all this and then down this bottom, because remember I had said there's a bunch of dings and dents along the bottom. So I'm gonna grab my little angle grinder. I'm gonna do it now real quick maybe. See if I can find that where I put it. Just want to get inside of these divots, because if you don't, your filler is not going to stick to shiny paint. Okay, I'm gonna get this blown off and then I'll mix up some filler. After I spread this, I'm going to sand the rest of the door down with 180 grit, and then I'll come back and we'll knock down this icing. And this we're just going to sand with 180 grit. That's all it needs. I need to really clean these boards. I need to sand them all down and clean them off. Okay, I'm gonna sand the rest of it while that's setting. Okay, let's knock this down with some 180 grit. Feels real good again. So I'm just gonna take my DA now and get this top part with some 180 grit. Get a new piece of sandpaper. Okay, let me get this finished up and I'll be back. Okay, this door is done. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not doing any hand block sanding, we're gonna do that all with the filler primer. I'm putting those 3 heavy coats of filler primer on. We're gonna guide coat and block sand with 180 grit and then 320. I'm pretty confident from doing this long enough of how this feels that I don't think I'm gonna find very many imperfections. And if we find a few imperfections, we'll use some of that icing, that glazing putty, and we will hit it, and then we will spot filler prime it. It's not a big deal. We're trying to blow through this quickly, but it honestly feels really good. So I'm not too concerned with it. So now this door is ready for primer. This fender is ready for primer. I'm gonna get this other one up on the stand. I'm gonna pull the moldings and stuff off, but I don't think I'm gonna finish it tonight. Originally I was gonna do it, but to be honest with you, not really in the mood. So I'm gonna get it up here, get it cut apart, ground down, cut apart, and we'll see what we're working with. Okay, let me grind this down and see what we're working with here. I can see a patch already right here. It's gonna be the same as they did on that other one. I'm gonna keep grinding that and then I'll come back. Okay, this fender's a little worse than the other one was. It has this brace in here that's all screwed up. So I'm gonna have to figure out and remake that brace. And then we have holes up here that need fixed. We have holes right here that need to be fixed. And then we need to weld in this antenna hole, which maybe we'll do that real quick right now, and then I'll end this video. I cut a piece of square steel. I'm waiting for it to cool off. I'm gonna stick it in from the back side, trace it with a marker, and then we'll take it over maybe to the bench grinder and shape it into a circle. All right, let's see if we can get this under there. Okay, now when I shape it, I want to make sure I leave all of the marker line, because if I don't, it'll be way too small. So I'm basically just going to sit here with this bench grinder and just start turning it into a circle. Got this pickup truck bed's kind of in my way, but we'll make this work. Make sure my cords aren't going to get wrapped up. Should be all right there. I should probably cut it. I'm gonna cut it real quick first. This is 16 gauge, so it's definitely not gonna want to cut easily. So I'm gonna keep doing that until I get it close to a circle. All right, I pulled the grinder out of the corner. Just get this thing shaped into a circle now. It's hot. Let's see if it fits. Might be too small. No, that should work. Okay, let me get the welder. I'm not too worried about this little area warping. that's done, quick and easy. I put a little more weld right there because I saw a little halo of the circle, which means I ground it too far. So I welded it one more time. There we go, now we're good. All right, that's all I'm doing tonight. I got to do a bunch of other stuff. So tomorrow night we'll be fixing that inner brace, and fixing these spots over here. And then at that point, the whole front clip, doors, and trunk lid will all be in primer, and then we'll start on the body. So, all right, guys, if you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe. Any questions or comments, feel free to ask. Other than that, I will see you guys later.